Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to my panelists. I am Umaira Rifka binti Ilas, student from Faculty Mechanical Engineering of UiTM Shah Alam. And today I will be present for my final year project titled Develop a Basic Spin Coater Machine Using Recycled Hard Drive. My supervisor is IR Dr. Amirul bin Abdul Rashid. For my presentation, I will have 4 sections, which is background of the project, literature review, third section is methodology, and lastly, for the expected result that will be achieved in this project. And now we will be proceed with the first section, which is the background of the project. Significance of project. It is a study to attempt in designing a low-cost spin coater and to help researchers to do research on their laboratories. It is due to the expensive market of the spin coater machine and with using of the recycled hard drive will be reduce the use of the natural resources. Then for the problem statement and the objective. The problem statement here is to create a spin coater machine that economical by using recyclable main components such as hard drive. The objectives is to design basic spin coater machine from recycled hard drive, then to fabricate the low-cost spin coater machine, and lastly to evaluate the function and performance of the spin coater machine. The application in spin coater machine in industry is firstly photoresist for patterning wafers in microcircuit. Secondly, insulating layers for microcircuit fabrication. And the third, flat screen display setting, anti-reflection coating and conductive oxide, DVD and CD-ROM, and lastly the television and anti-reflection coating. For the scope and limitation, it is for the scope of the project, create a spin coater machine using the recycled hard drive. And for the limitation, when we use brushless DC motor, it has not enough power. And due to 4-wire connection, it is not also interchangeable. Now we will be proceed with the Gantt chart. For my project planning, in the first week, I have a discussion with supervisor about the topic chosen, and the title is be offered by my supervisor. And after the research, the final division has been made, and I choose this title project and confirm it with my supervisor. In second and third week, I do research and journal reading, and I proceed with the introduction in third week, literature review in fourth week, also problem statement, objective and limitation of the project also in the fourth week. Methodology is being done in fifth and sixth week. Design analysis and development in 7 and 8 week. Proposal writing continues in week 5 to 14. Week 14. Workbook writing has been done every week according to the project planning schedule. Next, we will be continued with the second section, which is the literature review. My literature review is taken from journal which is titled Spin Coating Technique in year 2004, and the author is Bernie D.P. And next, in journal titled A Theoretical Study on Spin Coating Technique in 2001, and the author is Jonah M. Lee. Next, we will be continuing in third section, which is the methodology section. In methodology section, there are 4 key stages in spin coating technique, which is first stage is deposition. Deposition is a step where resin fluid is deposited onto the substrate. The coating solution is being poured out using a nozzle or syringe into the surface of the workpiece. And the display stage where all the excess solution will be pushed out toward the edge of the substrate to achieve the final thickness that needed. Next, at the second stage is spin up, where a step that characterized by aggressive fluid expulsion from water surface due to its rotational motion. Initially, it may produce spiral vortices, and when it is produced only briefly due to the twisting motion caused by inertia at the top fluid of the layer, as the speed becomes faster and faster until solution will be thin enough and uniform. Next, at third stage, it is spin-off stage where a step where gradually fluid thinning happens. The substrate will be spinning at a constant rate, and fluid whiskers will dominate the fluid thinning behavior, and it is called fluid thinning happening. And lastly, for the at stage 4 is evaporation, where a step where fluid thickness reaches a point where viscosity effect yield only rather minor net fluid flow. The evaporation of any volatile will become the dominant coating method at this stage. In fact, the coating effectively gels at this stage because of the viscosity of the remaining solution that are likely to be occurred at this solvent are removed and be effectively freeing the coating in place. Next is the experimental setup. This is schematic diagram prototype for spin coater machine that has been sketched and has been designed. Only for the main material will be used is the brushless DC motor, and it can be obtained in the recycled hard drive. And for the hard disk cage will be recycled to recreate as a box to install the circuit that is needed in running the system. Next, we will use the potentiometer to control the speed of the spin speed, and the LCD will show the spin speed that needed that will be used in the experimental result. And then the circular plastic cover will be used to avoid solution from spilling outside from the machine. And the workpiece will be placed on the center of the motor. And then the switch will be used for the on-off function. This is the block diagram for the spin coater machine running system. We have brushless ESC power supply potentiometer we connected to Arduino Uno as the input, and for the output we have brushless DC motor and LCD to show the reading. From the work diagram, the program planning that we use is the circuit program we set up by the setting program code using Arduino control. It is to control the whole system of the project. Then we will use pentameter to control the spin speed in RPM that will be connected in pin A0 at the Arduino board. Then we will connect brushless ESC signal pin to D8 and make sure the potentiometer will be set to the 0 value first. And then the Arduino power will be on when the power supply is connected. And at the same time, ESC also will be connected to the power supply. After we will hear beep beep sound that produced, it is as a mean that throttle is being detected, and potentiometer knob will be used to control the speed. Lastly, LCD will be used to display the spin speed to get the desired spin speed that required in the experimental testing. The hardware that will be used in this project is brushless DC motor, Arduino Uno, potentiometer, LCD, and brushless ESC. Brushless DC motor will be recycled from the hard drive itself, and Arduino Uno is it hard to run the whole system. Potentiometer function is to control the spin speed. LCD display the spin speed, and brushless ESC help in produce higher end performance power that initially as the limitation that we know it will be not produce enough power. So we put brushless ESC to produce higher performance and power. Next, we will be continued in the fourth session, which is the expected result. Expected result that I want to achieve in this project is firstly the film thickness versus time. Film thickness versus time is to evaluate the performance of the film thickness by variation but with constant speed. The set of data that I have planned is will be for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 120 seconds, and 180 seconds, but with constant speed, which divided by 3 sections. Firstly, 1500 RPM. Secondly, use 2000 RPM. And lastly, using 3000 RPM. Next, film thickness versus spin speed. It is to evaluate performance of film thickness with variation of the spin speed. The set of data variation will be 1500 RPM, 2000 RPM, 2500 RPM, and 3000 RPM for 1 minute and for 2 minutes. It will be two set of the data by this section. And lastly, for RPM evaluation, it is to test the machine ability in aspect of spin rate and ability to maintain the spin rate that has been set. The data set that it will be divided into two sections, which is high spin mode and low spin mode. It will be test the result of the machine its ability in maintaining the spin speed during high spin mode, and also ability of the machine to maintain the RPM during low spin mode. That's all from me. Thank you.